Okay folks, I got ahead of myself here a little bit, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. On my last video, got erased by accident, so we're going to go over some of the things I had done on that video. What we went ahead and did on the last video is we notched out where the actual hole is going to be. So you notch it at the top and on the bottom, and you just cut it out on either side. Okay. The other thing we did, we also did the mustache. All you do is you had your lines there, you just push it in really deep, follow your line across as a stop cut and undercut it and come back up and undercut that. Okay. Now we did both sides, and that's pretty well all we did. And the other thing I also did was just went around a little bit more on the bottom here, cutting out the actual boots. Now we outlined the wreath, the top, the bow, and the wreath at the top here. The beard is going underneath the wreath. We also redefined the bottom a little bit on the last video that I made the mistake on. As you can see, we went around. It's just a matter of doing a lot of stop cuts and just making sure that you have enough room here. You really want this to stick out a little ways. It looks a little nicer on them, as you can see on this one. Okay, so that's one of the things you want to do. The other thing I always talk about is redefining your lines, just making sure that you make them deeper and much deeper than normal. So here too, with the beard and the mustache, I am going to make this a little bit deeper, and I'll go ahead and do that now. So once you make the initial cut and you come back, and actually what I'm doing now is what you would do with the first cut. Go in there and just cut that out. Be very careful cleaning that out. And then right here, you're going to dig really deep, or push that point in pretty deep. Then you're going to take the point to the one edge of the edge, and then just poke it in there, and then that should do a little diamond cut coming out of there. Alright, now we have the lip to do yet, so why don't we do that now. We're just going to put a little stop cut, and we're just going to bring this up just like so. Now you can do this with a little V tool as well if you decide to, and just kind of blend that in there. Alright, so right here, when we had cut this out, we're going to try to finish that up a little bit. What you want to do is put a little stop cut. You should have had marked this going around a little further out, like a little oval, because we were following the oval shape of the wreath. And you can either take a little rounded gouge, or you can take, we'll use a rounded gouge anyway, but you can first do your little stop cut here, and then go back and cut it. Now this is going to come, now all of this is going to come down a little bit, so why don't we just trim this down a little bit, since we don't want to get rid of that edge there, because that's kind of like a reference point. But you can kind of bring this down a little bit. I'm going to bring the one that's the wreath here. I had the wrong one. And there we go. So this is pretty wide, pretty big. We may not make it as big on this one. We can. Let me take a look at how much more. Yeah, we can make that a little small. We can make the wreath a little smaller, but let's start this way. So we go ahead and cut this out. Alright, just like so. You know, they're all going to be a little different. I don't care how many times I've tried to make Santas, they all look a little different. And that's part of doing, you know, handwork. I just had a few people come in and pick out the ones they wanted that ordered. So I think I have those set aside, and whatever I have left here for Christmas. And you know, Christmas is quite a ways away. I can probably get another 15 or 20 Santas done in my spare time, if I choose to. You know, it's fun doing the first one. It's work when you do the second, third, and fourth the same way, but I try to mix it up a little bit. You know, some of them are going to be a little taller, some of them are going to be a little shorter, or their hat's going to be a little different, or their arms are going to be holding something different. So you can really mix things up. Now I'm going to go up here and do a little V cut. Okay? And we're going to just bring this down, and we're going to undercut, and that's where the bow is going to be. Alright. And we're going to round this off a little bit to go underneath that bow. So we're going to cut that a little deeper. There we go. Alright, see? Now of course this is going to come down a little bit more. It will all come together, you'll see. Now I'm going to redefine this again in the center. Like I said, you can make it more of an oval shape if you want, or a bigger hole, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. I think it looks fine the way it is. I'm going to make it just a little bit wider. Take the edge of my knife and cut it out. There we go. And that's going to be the continuance of the beard behind there. This one here, because the oval was much more wider, I actually have part of the boots showing part of the coat and beard, so that's a little more work to that, but you know, this is right at the edge, and we'll put the beard there for sure, or the bottom part of the coat, whichever one. Now some of you have already asked about the DVDs coming out. Yes, I will have DVDs on this and a couple of the other projects that I haven't put on DVD yet. They're coming. Alright. Now again, you gotta get rid of all those rough spots, so let's go ahead and do that. Round off this a little bit, right like there. Alright, I'm going to round off the arm a little bit as well. I'm going to make everything more deeper as we go along here. You'll notice that on the last DVD I'll actually I'll just show you how to do it, but it's so time consuming to go back over stuff that it's something you do offline. I just basically teach you the basic cuts that I use and what you need to do, and then some of it you can't possibly do everything online. Alright, so that's going to be a little bit deeper, so let's see if we can use a little gouge here and clean this up a little bit more. I see we're running out of time. We'll be right back.